All right, what's going on? Good evening, everybody. And holy crap, man, we just got kicked in the nuts on a stop loss, but that's okay. It's all right. It wasn't that big anyway. It was super sketchy when I started it, so I didn't do a very big trade to begin with. But here we are on another fantastic evening. Hoping to make a little bit of money. We'll see what happens here. Shout out, feeling a little bit of, homesick today, I suppose. Talk to people back home. Still got the Cleveland theme going, but we are going to get into the bull market support band, a MACD indicator, and an RSI plus linear regression band indicator. And we're going to have a good time doing it. Real quick quote for the day. A man travels the world over in search of what he wants and returns home to find it. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it is. It, like I said, is one of them days feeling a little bit homesick and, over here listening to Bone Thugs and talking to people from back home. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hit you guys with the Cleveland theme today. But look at this. Good gosh. And I still left the lines up here from my trade too. So I got in a trade in this dip right here. Was like, all right, put the order in, ended up having to bump it down a little bit. But I'm like, whatever, I'm expecting a little bit longer term. Because we're over here, we're getting choppy, coming down on the money flow. RSI was there kind of funky. Again, that's why I didn't do a very big trade. It was either, I don't know, it was one of these two guys. And so I'm like, all right, I'm at work. I let it ride. I'm just, okay. I set the stop loss originally up here above this previous tall wick. And we're just bumping around sideways. I figure. So whatever, I just leave it. And here I am at the computer like 8 hours later. Thought about cutting it down here. But I'm like, okay, we're getting deep into the red finally. And this is a 3 minute. I was watching closer up on like the 8 and 10 minute. We're getting deeper in the red over here, and by then I'm starting to work on the thumbnail and the little intro screen and all that good stuff. And I'm like, okay, I kind of missed this little pump back up to the upside a little bit to where we're coming, and we're still kind of breaking even a little bit at that point. And I'm like, I'm gonna let it ride some more. Then I see the blood diamond out of the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh cool, we gravy. All right. So at this point I'm thinking like, momentum's coming up here, money flow's coming up, RSI still kind of flaky, but whatever. I'm like, I'm probably just going to cut it at the bottom of whatever this is. And lo and behold, I'm sitting there working on the thumbnail. All of a sudden, my phone starts vibrating. I'm like, what the hell's going on? Boom. Big old giant candle. Just blasted off like the friggin' space shuttle Atlantis over here. I'm just like, oh, it's too late at that point. Trade was already cut. And I'm like, well, okay, I bumped the stop loss down a tiny bit, but whatever. It wasn't, let me see here. It wasn't nothing. 0.5%. What are we working with here? 8. It was like a 4%er. But again, it was a small trade. I did it on the practice account just because things were super sketchy back here. And I wasn't about to do anything big with it. Looking right now, it's hard to tell over here on the 8 minute, but if you were to actually come down, started to pull back a little bit, like over on the exchange. We're actually just 3 red candles in a row, but over here on the Heikin-Ashi, we're actually hitting on a couple green candles. Looks like VWAP crossing back over. Money flow still relatively high. RSI still high. That's the 1 minute though. I don't like making decisions on a 1 minute chart. What do we got here? VWAP actually crossing down, but money flow just came into the green. Just had that beautiful trigger wave right there. I wish I would have paid attention while that was going on. I was like, oh, okay, we're coming down. And the next thing I know, we're already like over here. And RSIs were like, sure, straight vertical. Oh, well, that's what happens. Sometimes, like I said yesterday, life comes at you fast. So yeah, if you are trading with bigger money, by all means, you should probably pay attention in the middle of a trade, unless you're doing like a much longer term swing trade, which even still, this was a little bit of an odd one here. You know, we were generally trending down over here on these momentum waves as we were reaching the top up here. We did have these like increasing little impulse waves, you know, as we went from tight and just expanded on the way up before finally coming back here. You know, had a couple of the blood diamonds right there. So I'm like, all right, you know, I'm going to go in on it, whatever. Money flow was super sketchy at the time, but I'll hop over here on the 30-minute. I knew that we had this going on here. Like we were just coming up into the green, but it was weak. RSI was just sideways. You know, momentum was coming down. So I was like, oh, well, you know what? We had this big pump. If we had a decent pullback, I was like, yeah, you know, I'm going to see how it works out. Just like we talked about with the paper trading video yesterday, you know, sometimes you just want to try something out, see how it works out. And rather than just kind of holding the idea in my head or putting a couple marks on the page here, and just throw a little bit of, you know, just throw a tiny trade on there, and then it kind of forces you to follow it as if you were really trading it. 14.15. Ah, man, we still got some gas in the tank potentially on the 30-minute. What's the hourly? That's still a fresh little baby boy green candle right there. You know, that was the other one here too. The money flow coming down pretty much to the same point as that. You know, possibly a little trigger wave over here on the 1 hour. That would be pretty big. Damn, I gotta turn these headphones down. There we go. So what's going on with everybody tonight? How you guys doing here? So basically the whole reason I wanted to make this video prior to that, figured I'd just give you a little update on that, is, well, you know, let's start with this since I already have it open. So you are plenty familiar with Market Cipher B, but has anybody out there used the MACD indicator before? Probably looks familiar. A lot of people, a lot of traders on YouTube and such who are not using Market Cipher very often have this guy open right here. And if you want to get to it, I have it on my favorites list over here. This guy right here, moving average convergence divergence. You know, MACD, MACD. And you know, you can find it just by clicking this button over here and saying MACD, and then you got a whole bunch of other community script versions. I basically just used the official. And as you can see, you've got almost like, you know, almost like some money flow waves or momentum waves similar to Market Cipher. But if you hold the two side by side, obviously there's a difference. And the closest thing really would almost be like the VWAP, but not exactly. Like you can see, we peaked up here on the VWAP, crossed back over here. You can see from where we crossed up to cross back was that whole trend to come down here, cross up, and we didn't cross back until we were already significant little ways past it. Again, you know, it's an hourly chart too. But you do have, as it's on the way up, you get the solid green color. On the way down, you get the solid red. And then when it is increasing back up or decreasing back down, you get like a very diffuse color. So basically like a white, but little greenish tint, little reddish tint. And then you got these two bands right here. If you go to your little settings window, you got your MACD line and your signal line. And, you know, you can change all the colors and all that good stuff. Oscillator, moving average type. You could do the SMA. or the EMA. EMA is going to be a little bit more precise, I suppose, for you. Like SMA, I believe, is the smooth moving average rather than the exponential moving average. I do not know what fast and slow lengths are. Don't really care to look it up. I basically just leave it stock. And you can have it set to a specific time frame. So even if you go and change time frames, it will show you based on that data. I imagine it would look pretty funky if you have a big difference between what it's set to and what you're actually on. I'm going to come back down here to the 10-minute. Let's see what's going on at the moment. 11, 11, 11. All right, so we are still pumping. Regular old RSI is just chilling. What are we up to? 77. Market Cipher RSI 92. Then again, those are very much different time frames, but looking down here, you can see, okay, you know, moving up with these little green candles. Had this little bump here, a little bump there. Generally follows the price action for the most part. And I know a lot of people, when using this, will kind of, you know, try to keep it simple and say, like, some people will want to start once you start getting into these white candles, you know, maybe start a trade up until you get back to the white candles. I mean, if you're really, really trying to keep it simple. You know, other people might be a fan of watching these crossovers. So when the blue is crossing up, you know, they could start a trade there, end it as it crosses down, but you know, you're definitely not going to be hitting the very top and bottom. You think, okay, here's the cross there, up to cross there, 0.34%. You basically just chunked out the middle of it a tiny bit. So not the greatest strategy idea. And obviously this isn't going to work quite the same with, you know, these crossing over the zero line. They are, you know, almost independent of it a little bit, other than larger trends where you can see, like, okay, we started, you know, a new uptrend from the bottom over here, which was your lowest point. You can almost treat them like RSIs. Then you had the pump there. You know, if you cross back, get a turnaround, especially on a higher time frame, you could probably play the crosses a little bit, but basically just going from high area to low area would be a better bet. Like in here where we're just going sideways forever, we just kind of chilled around the middle. Came up super high over here after that big old pump. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of an idea what this is doing in relation to the price. I'm just seeing if there's any other correlation with the Market Cipher here. Not much. I mean, when you do have these RSIs cross, it looks like it's relatively close to a cross down here, but you're getting more crosses on you know, those moving averages than you're getting up here, which I definitely like the Market Cipher RSI a little better. So that is the big MACD, the Mac Daddy. And then we got this guy right here. Holy crap, that's a little big. Okay, let's reel this. Actually, I'm gonna close that. Reel this back in a little bit. All right. You have this guy, which is RSI plus LinReg bands, which is linear regression bands. I am particularly a fan of, you know, linear regression things of all type, really. Now this guy is going to be this one here. So RSI with self-adjusting linear regression bands. Big old name. Apparently, you know, uploaded by somebody named Expo. If you were to type it here, community scripts, RSI was self-adjusting. And there's plenty of other RSIs. You know, RSI with stochastic RSI is actually a decent one in itself, if that's what you're using. Or, you know, you like to use or want to use, I suppose. What do we got here? 8 and 8. Taking another pit stop. Still not quite down yet. But looking over here, so not only, you know, if you have your RSI right here, your blue line in the middle, not only are you going, you know, above and below like a median, or you have a 50 line here, 0 to 100, no negatives. 20 and 80 is kind of your overbought, oversold areas. And you can see the green line up here and the red line, those are your linear regression bands, with the blue kind of being your median. And as the RSI goes over top, it kind of shades it in green for you. When it comes down below, shades it in red. And it's kind of nice because rather than just having, you know, an RSI going across this whole thing and saying, all right, you know, overbought, oversold, the linear regression bands kind of move in relation to the trends, and this RSI is moving amongst those linear regression bands. So you get kind of a more immediate, shorter term overbought and oversold condition in relation to what it's doing at the moment. So like, you know, we're pumping up here, as you can see, came up into the overbought territory, pulled back down to the median when we had this little pullback, and then went right back up. And as it's all trending up, you know, your linear regression bands are going up with it. Again, pulled back to the median before one last move up, but did not make it past the upper band before pulling all the way back down and coming back into this oversold area down here, before coming all the way back up above the top band with this little parabolic move, very similar to what the heck's going on right now, and pulled all the way back. And as you can see, you know, we're still up here in this range, like generally around the 50, 60 area. So even though it's pulling back, it's not, you know, we're not going all the way down here. Still got more room to kind of go up, and definitely more room to come down. Let's zoom out, kind of catch longer term trend here. But you'll notice it rarely comes down to 0 or up to 100. See if we can find a spot where it does it. Okay. That's interesting. So yeah, right here, actually right before the COVID dip, you know, we were pumping up pretty hard. You know, same thing even up here on Market Cipher. You know, money flow was coming up. RSI was pretty much topped out on the daily before we had our big dip. But you can even see where we were running out of strength before we got to the top of that. And this guy started coming down already passing through the lower band, getting into this big oversold section right here. And let's see what we see on Market Cipher in comparison. You know, momentum wave pretty much from the peak started coming down, but this guy, yeah, this guy pretty much hit the peak as well. And despite the fact that it was going sideways, was coming down fast. Pretty much same thing with the momentum wave, not quite as fast as down here. So that's, you know, it seems pretty responsive. You know, bottoms right about the same exact time. Bottoms on that momentum wave. It's definitely a close relation between this RSI and the momentum waves. Now you do definitely have differences. You know, whereas this guy's higher than that. Look at that, it's like a little head and shoulders in the momentum wave. Where this guy's a little bit higher, it's a little bit lower over here. Little differences between right there. Yeah, definitely some difference right here. I would be curious to see how the divergences work out with this guy compared to Market Cipher. Let's see if we could find some. It's kind of a double bottom, but we can almost kind of call this a divergence right here. So between these two and this guy right here, if we come down, yeah, we still have it a little bit. Let's see, what about up here? You know, started having divergence right there, right at the top. Whereas this guy was still going up. Okay, so this one did not catch. It's definitely a subtle. It's a subtle one right there, but it is coming down as that price is going up. Might be hard to see it. So like right there where the price is going up. Momentum waves coming down. And that RSI down there still going up. Let's see, anywhere else? Where can we find some more? Nope, not showing there. We already checked that one. Here we go. All right, so we've got some pretty big bearish divergence right here on this little peak right there. And if we come down here, let's see, so maybe going from right in this area to then this area right here. Let's see, that's a tough one. No, I wouldn't call it a divergence. It looks like these are all just flat topped right along the same level. Whereas it was, you know, blatantly obvious on the Market Cipher momentum waves. Let's see, where else can we find some? We got some right here. Didn't play out in anything too big. Yeah, that one showed up down here. Where? Oh, yeah, here's another big one. And this one did show up down there as well. Okay. No, nothing really right there. Got some bullish divergence right there. And let's see. What do we have? You know, it's very, very close, but just ever so slightly pointed up down here. So you would have had to have been paying attention and looking fairly close, but as you can see, good gosh, I mean, that's almost indistinguishably close. Do we get numbers? Yeah, we do. So we got, what is this, 20.7. No, I take it back, 20.7. So that was basically double bottomed over here, where Market Cipher was giving you that divergence. So for anybody out here saying that it doesn't have value, I'd say we just showed a little bit to the contrary right there. You know, it did manage to have what, like 3 out of 6, 3 out of 7. Let's see if we can't shake its reputation a little more here. Here we go. There's a nice one. Big old bearish divergence between these peaks. Oh crap, we don't even get it. Why the fuck don't we even get it? Where'd it go? Where you at? What's the matter? You don't want to do work? You bum. Come on, lazy. Fill in. Oh, look at that. It doesn't even want to work. I'm gonna count that as a loss. Maybe is it restricted how far back it goes? That's kind of jacked up. I mean, there's chart there. It really shouldn't matter. It should only matter what, you know, data is on the chart. But speaking of, what are we doing now? Pulled back a tiny bit, coming up, possibly bouncing off the 70. Okay. Let's take it down to. So what do you guys think? What's your, I mean, you know, even though I just got done kind of showing that it doesn't quite keep up with the Market Cipher there, you know, at the same time, as far as, you know, all the indicators that are out there and around, I do fairly like this one. I really don't use it anymore, but back before I had Market Cipher, I had found it and I was using it. And I feel like I could use it better now than I could have back then, because back then I was still basically a beginner and did not understand concepts such as divergences and things. Even if it didn't show me half of them. But let's see. We got another one right here. A little bully. A little bullishness. Let's see, where would that be? So right here. Oh man, that might be another flat. All right, what do we got here? 29.7 again with the 29.7. 29.6. So technically there was bullish, son of a bitch, bullish divergence right here, because this guy was 0.1 higher than that guy. So you may not have seen it by eye, but had you been over here reading the numbers, you would have caught it. Ouch. Technically, you know, I'm gonna call that a win. Technically, we're gonna call that a win. It did show it. Here we go. Here's another one. Another one. DJ Khaled. All right, what do we got here? What do we got? Another close one. We're gonna have to read it. 32.5. Uh-oh. 31.4. Nope. That's a fail. That is a fail. So didn't show it up on that one. That would have been a nice one too. That was a nice one. Man, I should like retitle this video. Oh wait, I didn't post it yet. I can retitle it. I'm gonna call it like Market Cipher Crushes Regular Indicator or something clickbaity like that. You know, keep in mind too, breaking out of this pattern, came back and retested. Money flow coming up. RSI staying high. Staying higher than Styles P. Even down here, coming up out of the oversold region there. But all right, that's enough of that guy. We got one more. Save the best for last. If you're still watching, if you're not bored yet. If you were bored, I don't know what to tell you guys. Short attention span sounds like a you problem. We have the bull market support band. Because bands make her dance. And it's not overly complicated. In fact, it is crazy, stupid, simple. But if you watch, what's his name, Into the Cryptoverse at all, he is a big proponent of this. And again, very simple, but it is considered the bull market support band. When you are above it, you know, we are bullish, staying in the bull market. When we're below, have the potential to be in a bear market. And as you can see, just since we've crossed below it, we got rejected once, and we are approaching again. We approach and it approaches us. So I have a feeling we are definitely going to find out what happens on this next close approach. Hopefully our spaceship will, you know, make it through this little asteroid field here. We'll be out into deep space and journeys in places unknown. Maybe not unknown yet. We're still kind of low in the price, but, and this is Ethereum too. So typically most people use that to judge Bitcoin. As you can see, Bitcoin actually had 2 rejections for basically, actually 3. So we came back, broke through, retested, and dumped. And it's the same thing with a pattern. You know, if you come back and you retest off a level and you get rejected, that is like one of the best times to short, or in the case of breaking through, coming back, retesting, and coming off. I mean, clear as day right here. You can see outstanding long. And down here, you know, outstanding short opportunity when we get rejected. So the fact that we are coming back up to it would foretell potentially a very nice, you know, longer swing trade. You know, if we get rejected, at that point, you're probably going to be seeing everybody on YouTube saying we're probably in a bear market. Because to get rejected from here, like you can see, we're even kind of trending in this little pattern where we're, you know, getting tighter and tighter. I'd be willing to bet, you know, volume went from being big to kind of starting to come down a little bit. You know, we do have some pumps here and there, but yeah, even the volume is tapering a bit. And we will be culminating in not just a potential breakout from this pattern, but a potential breakthrough or rejection on that bull market support band. So that's going to be a big one. I think that's going to be like the make or break moment for this cycle. You know, are we continuing the bull cycle, or are we officially in a bear market? And that is what I personally am using to judge that with, to, you know, kind of say where my position on the subject lies. But it is definitely an interesting thing to look at. You know, back here, after the big dip, we crossed through fairly easily. You know, we came up, got rejected once, came up, and we're just kind of pecking away at it like Woody the Woodpecker. Came back, generally speaking, kind of retested off, but we're going sideways, but we were above it. We were above it. Didn't even quite make it down to it before pushing off a little bit. Retested again. You know, got pushed back. You could pretty much call that another retest. And after like 3 retests in a row, each one getting closer and closer, we finally took off. And once we took off, we were putting all this distance in between us and the band until we finally started coming back over. And I could still remember at the time when we were on initial approach, and what's that dude's name? Into the Cryptoverse guy, you know, was making videos talking about we are approaching the bull market support band. And you know, you can go back on his channel. He's got plenty of videos talking about it, getting into, you know, very good detail. He's a very analytical minded person, very statistical, you know, gets into the math of things, even like creates his own charts and things like that. Awesome channel, super shout out. And then when we broke through, I still remember him saying like, okay, you know, we're not necessarily in a bear market yet, but at some point we are going to come back and retest it. And it very much depends on what happens when we retest. Because if we were to come up, say here, retest and got rejected and started coming down, it was very likely we would be bear market, and that would have been market top. But as you can see, we, you know, pushed through it, came back, retested, bounced again, came up with a new all-time high before running out of gas, and literally just burning straight through it. Like just burning up on re-entry, came back down, even had a little retest right there before having like the official retest, getting rejected, dumping. And it seems as though, you know, we did not completely dump all the way down yet. We still have some bullish pressure here to the upside, enough to keep us knocking at the door. And like I've said before, you know, the more you keep, you know, pushing on that door, the more likely you are to finally break through. But at the same time, I mean, this is the daily chart. We're talking big time overall macro trends. You know, anything can happen. And if we do get rejected from there, there's a high likelihood that we do not come back and retest for a little while. Again, not for sure, just likelihood. And then another thing to watch with the bull market support band here is these flips. Just like a EMA ribbon. You know, when we crossed up here, you know, pretty much a bad sign that, okay, in for some downish action, crossed over here, bullish action, crossed over there, downtrend. Now, if you are wondering what these moving averages are, as a matter of fact, I'll tell you right here. So you have the 20-week SMA and the 21-week EMA. And just to bring this guy up here, 20-week SMA is your red line. 21-week, you know, exponential moving average is your green line. And you got this hideously ugly background color. Oh my gosh, we gotta do something about that. That's a little better. Not really a reason that it's red and green, but is what it is. I'll be honest with you, I kind of like that's the icy white look. Kind of ugly. It's more like gray. All right. Let's go. Gonna get like a nice icy blue. I don't want to make it too opaque. No. Ah. Oh my gosh, fuck it. All right, that's what it is. So yeah, so that is the bull market support band, and let's take a look at the charts. Let's see what's going on. What's happening here? Still generally trending up, kind of hanging out around the previous high from when the hell was that? The hell kind of time is that? So like an hour ago. Really? Huh. Yeah, that can't be. What is it? 2:45. It says 3:15. A half hour ago. I can actually show it a little bit higher. So, all right, VWAP came down, but barely even below. Basically, just paralleling sideways. You know, money flow increasing. This is the 10-minute, so let's see, what's the 15 saying? Didn't quite make it down yet. RSI still pointing up. Came back up to a 10. Man, I'm half tempted to FOMO on this guy. Screw it, let's see what happens. I do not recommend doing this in other situations, but that's a decent little increase. Money flow coming up. And I know we've been talking about RSIs together pointed up. We've been talking about, you know, the difference between FOMOing and just getting in on a continuing trend. And I actually had a really good comment from a viewer yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And I don't know if I could even find it offhand real quick. But basically, you know, it was saying how he was having trouble with FOMO-phobia. That's what he called it. So, hey, shout out. Yeah, I'm just going to dig up your username real quick, just because that was an outstanding word for that. Dude, fucking YouTube is terrible showing you, like, show me just all the recent comments. But as soon as you, like, reply to it, it takes it off the list. Let's see here. Ah, here we go. All right. Where are we at? Where are we at? Where are we at here? Bingo, here we go. Green Evolutions. Super shout out to you, Green Evolutions. Great comment. I hope you don't mind. I'm going to read it real quick. It's a good comment, so you ain't got nothing to worry about. So it says, I'm using BitGet for demo account, working on making and placing stop losses, muscle memory, so I'll never get caught out again in a real money trade, as well as working on being more reasonable with my FOMO-phobia. That is keeping me out of jumping in the big moments. And I'll leave the rest out, but I feel like this is one of those situations where, holy shit, and I was right too. Look at that. Damn, we're already up 8%. Oh, look at that shit. Hold up. I can barely even see it on here. Where do we get in at? 2,980. $2,980. Wrong asset. So about there. Gotta love when you do that when you're trading Ethereum and you're looking at the Bitcoin chart. God knows that has happened to me more than once. But that's okay, because we're up 9%. Just go. Go, baby, go. Definitely one I was not trying to risk one of my bigger accounts on, but if we're going to FOMO and we're going to practice this, we're going to use the practice account. We're up, what are we at? 10% now? All right. I'm going to bump that stop loss up below that wick, because I have a feeling when this guy comes down, it's going to come racing back down like Top Thrill Dragster. You guys ever go on that ride? Cedar Point? Anybody been to Cedar Point? in my opinion, and I haven't been to a ton of them, but you know, best amusement park there is. Let's see. I'm afraid to do the 1 minute because I'm gonna start seeing red candles and be like, oh my god, it's turning around. What do we got here? We're losing strength. How's the book? Book's going crazy. No point in looking at the book. I wonder. There we go. That's what we're talking about. Hey, Microsoft did something right for a change. Oh shit, we're going. We're going. We're going. Oh, it's too small. I can't see it. Okay. It came back. Let's see. If it bounces off that 70, I'll be a little bit salty. Yep, there it goes. No, didn't stay. Wait. Close long. It's not telling me that. See, I can't remember how to get to those little screens where it tells you what the percentage was. Oh man, look at that shrinking back up. It's going scared turtle. $16 up here. That's still pushing through anyways. Look at that. Is that going to push through? -1, -3. That's one thing to keep in mind too. I mean, when you're like seriously pumping, it's almost like anything else is almost irrelevant. All right, VWAP could be down on the negative side. You know, RSI could be coming down a little bit. Even money flow could be coming down a little bit. As you can see, the price is still going up. What do we got here? Oh, we're weakening on the top side. Pulling back with a red candle over here. It's a tough one. Might be rolling the top a little bit, but still got some strength. Still got some balls behind it. I don't know, last time something like this happened, we ended up having like 3 legs of this. Half tempted just to throw it on there just as a little training exercise here and see like, okay, you know, last time when we pumped out like multiple impulse, I hate to say waves, but you know, last time when we pulled out like 3 legs of the uptrend, you know, we got through the first leg and I'm like, okay, it's going to come back. And I pulled back a tiny bit and they're like, nope, kept going. So there's a good training example here. Let's see if we can figure out here in live time, is it going to continue or is it going to pull back? And 1 minute is not the best chart for that. Although it gets hard because things move so fast that, you know, any higher time frames is basically just lagging at that point. 12, 13, 8. So we are weakening. You know, lower wick means a little bit of a pullback on the Heikinashis. 10 up top. Money flow still basically increasing, still at its highest point. New candle. All right, red 13. You know, we got that red diamond right there, which was basically why I just kept pushing that stop loss up there, because once you get that red diamond, even if it doesn't even get red candles, you're still basically in like a pullback or a little bit of sideways action. You know, if you come over here and look on the regular candles, Got that increasing strength to the downside. If it continues putting up some reasonably big numbers like that, it might not be very long-lived. Let's see, 10-minute. How's the bigger strength looking? 8. Mini point down. Still above. Still coming in green. Above. Yeah, still technically in the red, but basically just flatlined. Man, it sucks doing this without music. I'd sing to you, but I'd probably still get a freaking copyright strike again. You rat bastards. Yeah, that's got a little bit of strength the other way. I'm a little afraid to short it though with, you know, all this green money flow going here. Okay, 22. Are we running out of gas maybe? Little doji star maybe? Oh, you think another leg? Oh, no. Okay, we caught it. You know what? I'm gonna throw. Don't do that. If this is a fake out and we continue back down, I'm keeping that stop loss close at this point. This is basically just a, yeah, because last time I was watching one of these and we had a little bit of pullback. And as soon as we started rounding a little bit, next thing you know, we're continuing on up to the upside. So this is not really analysis trading. This is just trying to get some experience on, you know, when we start getting these pumps and it behaves in a certain way, how's it going to go? And rather than just looking at it, I'm throwing what, $60 on it. Oh, phone's vibrating. Are we about to take off? Yep. You know, okay, this is a little heads up, and I have no idea how it does this, but I have an app on my phone. What's it? Why are you texting me? I haven't seen you in like 3 years. Hey, Crypto Face is live right now too. Looks like he's going in on it too. But either that or he did prior to this. Okay, so I have an app on my phone called Delta. And it's basically where you can keep track of your portfolio. I'll see if I can find a link on a regular web page here. But the interesting thing is, so a while back I was setting up notifications. I was like, all right, you know, so that way it would wake me up when I was sleeping. I was like, if the price, you know, goes above this or it goes below this, do a notification. And then I had set the notification to like play like a loud ass song so that it would hopefully wake me up. And what do we got going here? Getting shaky. It's flaky, Holmes. No? Okay, continue up. Keep going up. You know you want to. But so anyways, ever since I set these alerts through the portfolio app, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. There we go. Keep it moving. Yeah, ever since I set those alerts, man, I want to shrink that down though. There we go, just temporarily. Like, I turned almost all of the alerts off, but even still, it gives me, for whatever reason, it like dings and it vibrates every time there's like a little bit of pump in volume and it's reversing. And so I could literally be sitting here not even looking at the chart, and all of a sudden phone will be like bzz, bzz, ding 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 ding, and I'll turn over here and look, and like 1 or 2 seconds later it'll be like pumping green candle. All right, I'm getting tired of this regular candles. There we go. That's what we like. All this back and forth. All right, Delta investment tracker, is that it? Let's see here. Yeah, I think this is it. We're running out of gas. Putting in a lower high. I'm gonna fucking put it at break even at this point. All right, shit, I don't know. Here, fuck it. Come down to that point, probably gonna put in a new low anyways. So, see if this is gonna be a completely hot mess of windows, but all right. So yeah, it's this guy right here. Delta, you can track your crypto. It's a nice looking app and it works fairly well. You can also hook it up to your exchange accounts and things like that, so that if you're, doing a whole bunch of trades on whatever exchange you're using, whether it be Binance or Coinbase or whatever, it can automatically update your little wallet tracker so that you know not only how much you're holding, but it keeps track of like when the transaction was, what the price was, what the price originally was in the trade. So it tells you when you're, making money. And then at the top, there it is. It'll say, okay, that's how much your portfolio is worth. Why does it say minus in a green number? That doesn't even make sense. It'll say, how much you're up profit. And then it'll give you a percentage, or this guy will turn red and it'll be written in red and you'll be down however much. Yep, manage your, okay, you can connect wallets as well. Not sure that I want to do that. I only connected two exchanges. Hey, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. And I started out just manually inputting transactions. And I mean, you can get full detail too. So, say you buy some, $500 worth of Tether, and you go in there and say, all right, I bought 500 of Tether from Coinbase. This was the fee. And so you're literally keeping track like down to the penny. And then say you bounce it off to somewhere else. And then, you traded, 400 of that Tether for some Bitcoin. And if, you can either just manually input that, along with, if you put in like the exact time that you did the transaction, it will actually grab the price, what it was at that time, or at least, close enough, because I think it's going like by the minute if you're manually putting it, because you're not going to want to keep typing to get seconds. But, so even if you're going back and saying, like I had to do that because obviously I'd done a whole bunch before I found this app. And so I was going back through my order logs on the exchange and just real quick, just trying to punch them in. And as long as you tell it, I traded this much of this for this much of this on this account at this date and time, it'll fill in the kind of like the average price for that minute. and it makes life easier. And then it's cool because, you know, as you're going down your portfolio here, it'll show you what you're up or down. And it's not just percentage though. At this point, it says like dollar amount and then percentage. And I'm really, really glad that I got this. Not only because it tells me when the friggin' market's like about to do a little reverse pump here, but it's nice to look at so I can look at my portfolio and be like, okay, you know, spread out amongst, you know, wallets. And I don't know, I'm only holding on one exchange at this point. I pretty much cleaned everything off exchanges, but I can see that and be like, okay, this is how much my Bitcoin's worth, my Ethereum's worth. I don't actually have XRP. How much my Litecoin's worth, how much Tether I still got left over. All right, what's going on here? Yeah, I think we're good. And it's just nice, like, because it also keeps in mind, you know, if you were actually trading, it logs that profit in there, you know, during those trades. So like even right now, when, let's say like VeChain, how the market's low, it's not doing super hot compared to its all-time high. This is a really good example because I've still got a bunch of the buy price lines in here that I'd purchased at those prices. Now, granted, I had bought and sold scattered amongst it, but I just never took, it gets all mixed up. So who knows like which ones I still have from that price. But, you know, obviously we're down here, but when I go into my, where are we going? Where are we going? You know, when I go into my app here, even though the price is significantly lower than it would be for my average purchase price, I'm still up. Well, I don't know if I should say, but surprising amount. Uh-oh. Cozy that right up to that previous low right there. I kind of want to turn on. I wonder, what do you think? Think we'll catch a strike for popping in on Face's video real quick. Let's could probably do it without the audio. Live now. You know, I don't even think I have audio capture on right now. Nope, I don't. What are we looking at? Switching charts. Yeah, I'm definitely not sitting on a nice little 3 milli trade. Especially not for some potential FOMO I pulled out of my butt. No. I'm gonna pull it back down here. But let's see, what do we got going on here? Where is all my shit? Where the f are my spider lines? Like all of my stuff is gone except for these two dumbass things. Did I accidentally delete stuff? Ah, that's annoying. Well, okay. Apparently it just got rid of my spider lines, but where are we at? Bit stamp sitting in between. That is very discouraging. I'm really hoping it didn't delete all my spider lines. Oh, looks like we're getting a little squeeze going on right there. But all right, I am going to cut this just for now. Because what do we... Shit, we gotta be going on. Hour, 6 minutes. So hopefully anybody watching this, it's probably going to be a little bit after this little pump by now, but I'm not going to drag on too long. We ended up just kind of chilling, hanging out. Long ass video for a couple of indicators, but hey, things happen. Things get exciting. Sometimes you got to roll with it. All right, I will probably see you all tomorrow again as usual. And thank you for stopping by. Love you guys. Absolutely. You know, show some love, throw a comment, say what's up, say what you've been working on, what you're having trouble with. What do you think I'm doing stupid? By all means, love to hear from you guys. All right, later.